All right, we're live. Here we go. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah.
It's episode
Excited for the second one.
episode 2. Here we go. Maybe we'll get a little bit better this time. Every time. That's what we're looking for. Anything crazy happened this week that you know of?
Nah, not to me.
Not really.
Lame-o.
Nothing at Fuddruckers this week, Dad?
Oh, yeah, you could have Fuddrucker stories.
Well, no. One of the guys that got kicked out at Fuddruckers, he's invited back. So that's a
That's a
plus.
positive.
That's a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are looking up for that guy.
Exactly. So we're all good there.
Have y'all gotten any rain? It stormed and hailed like crazy here in Dallas last night.
Well, we're looking at there's a National Weather Service advisory right now as you speak.
It won't rain. It never rains there.
It's going to be the split.
All right. What are y'all drinking today? I'll start with you, Mace IV.
Okay, I'm drinking a product from Iron Wolf. It's called Hot Scotch, and it's a whiskey. It's a butterscotch whiskey, and it has butterscotch flavoring. And when you take it in, when you feel it, there's also peppers at the end. So it's made with Texas peppers also, and it's really good. If you put it in your coffee in the morning, man.
What?
Yeah, coffee in the morning. You put a little in your coffee in the morning. It's really good. But this here is out of Spicewood, and it's a distillery out of Spicewood, close to where you live, right?
Yeah, Briarcliff. Go about there.
So yeah, it's real close there, and man, it's really good. They also make another one that's whiskey flavored, that's cinnamon flavored, same thing. And but I put this in your coffee. It's really good.
I think only retired people can get away with putting Iron Wolf in their coffee in the morning.
I'll take Miles and I can do that.
But it's really good. Like I said, it's butterscotch flavor, and you taste the flavor of the butterscotch, and then towards the end you'll feel the peppery Texas peppers on your throat.
What do you like to mix it with?
Yeah, actually, I'm mixing it right now with Topo Chico. But a lot of people drink
fancy.
it straight over. A lot of people drink it straight over ice. But it's really good. Check it out. Check their Iron Wolf.
I think I've had the cinnamon. I'm not sure about the butterscotch. That sounds a little sketchy to me.
It does sound, but man, once you taste it, I guarantee you'll.
I actually like drinking the hot scotch better. I mean, the Iron Hot's good, but the hot scotch has got some
which is the butterscotch.
Yeah.
It's
Mama
good.
likes the Iron Hot.
There's Connie chipping in. She likes the Iron Hot.
Yeah, that's my wife. She likes to, when she goes to sleep at night, take a little sip of the Iron Hot.
Okay. Okay, Mace IV, what are you drinking?
I'm sticking with beer. I've got a local. It's called the Blur by Circle. I'm just going to read a little back of it. I'm going to pull a Miles here. This Texas twist on the German wheat beer. It's got a hint of caramel and a crisp but refreshing style. It's got a little citrus. It says it's light. It's comparable to a wheat beer. But I like it. It's good. I'm not even big on wheat beer than myself, but this one actually goes down pretty smooth at good price. But yeah, I like it a lot.
Where's it
It's
from?
not bad. It's from Austin, or it says Austin.
Oh, it's brewed in Austin.
Yeah, or well, let me make sure on that first. Just says. I don't know. I'll have to find out. But
Always
it's local,
prepared.
Yeah,
Local one.
I know. I did it
Well,
again.
at least he can pronounce this one, right?
I did pronounce this one, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, I think it's. By the way, it's Line and Kugel. We've determined that. And
Line and Kugel?
yes, and that was the highest viewed video that we
Yeah,
posted.
because I kept saying Lugengeickel. I don't know if that's a good thing, people viewing me and making fun of me, or people just like watching the show. But I don't care. Either way, we get views. That's perfect.
All right, and what I got today, it's a perfect Dallas beer. It actually is a local Dallas beer. But if anybody knows anything about Dallas, there's plenty of these roaming around. But it's called the $30,000 Millionaire. I don't know if you can see the bottle, but you got your little bro there. And
I like that.
He's got his glasses, got his faux haircut, his faux hawk, and then on the back, he's got his V-neck. So he's repping. He's probably rented a Lamborghini for the night, just to go out in Uptown. So that's the Dallas life right there. It's really, it's brewed by Noble Ray. It's really sour, so it is a sour golden ale. So if you like sour beers are kind of like the new thing. I feel like it's like a special way they brew it, and it comes off really sour. I like it. It takes when you first taste it, any sour beer, you're kind of going to have a kind of like this, but then once you keep drinking it, you start to like it more and more. But yeah, Noble Ray, $30,000 millionaire, represent Dallas. There we go.
Have to try that.
All right. So we got our beers. We're live. Thing I wanted to start with today, and I think it's a great topic for Mace IV. And I think this came to my mind was because of all the different locations you've done this at. But with college football starting this week, but the big games start, on the 1st, Labor Day. Does it start this week or next week? It starts next week.
No. Football?
Next week.
Yeah.
Well, there's games this weekend, Saturday.
Okay, yeah. So this week.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking real games, we're talking probably next week. But Rice is in there.
Hey, go Owls. But I wanted to start with the tailgate discussion. I think everybody, if you love college football, then you love the tailgate, right? So I wanted to kick it off by asking the best tailgate you've ever been to. I'm going to start with the third again.
Obviously, the best tailgate I've ever been to was at Ole Miss at the Grove. I got to go to a game there. I think it was
Texas, right?
Two Texas and Ole Miss, 2012, I believe. And I went there, and I don't know if you've ever been if you know the Grove, but they wait a while, and then everybody goes and sets up a tent, and anyway, they party. They have chandeliers hanging from the tents. They're all dressed up in their little hotty-toddy outfits, and they're super nice to the opponents and stuff. And I got to drink a lot of moonshine there. I got to eat a lot of good food there.
Did you actually drink the moonshine?
Well, this one guy gave me the moonshine. He said, "You're from Texas." I said, "Oh yeah, you'll like this." So I took a shot of the moonshine, and it was like the worst thing I ever tasted in my life. And I didn't swallow it, so I kind of held it in the back of my throat. And when he left, I spit it out because it was like rubbing alcohol, dude. It was bad. But according to him and everybody else, it was the best thing ever. But the people were super nice there. It was a good experience. I think it's like the Grove is like rated the number 1 or number 2 best tailgate ever, right? Supposedly,
So it's interesting. When I thought about this question, I thought of the Grove. I thought you were going to say the Grove, but I also thought maybe you would consider the greatest cocktail party or the largest cocktail party, right?
Well, that's another one. Now, there's 3 of them. Yeah, that's another. The Grove was cool. The greatest cocktail party, that was like out of control.
Which for everybody, that's Florida versus Georgia.
Georgia, yeah.
And
they have, so you drive up there, they have they get there a week before the game. A week before the game, they have an RV section that's called RV City. They actually have cops there, and they have makeshift jails. So it's like a little mini city, that you go around there. And so we got there real early. Connie and I, my wife, we got there real early, and we were walking around this RV city, and this guy comes out in his underwear out of his RV, and there's this scarecrow that he has in front of his RV, and it's spitting up like this orange liquid. It's just coming out the mouth, and it was like orange crush and tequila or something. I can't remember what it was. Early in the morning, right? And he sees me walking. He said, "Oh, you're a Texas fan? What are you doing here?" "Well, get you some drink, buddy." And so he gave me a cup, and I held it under the scarecrow spitting the juice, and I drank it, and that was crazy. That was unbelievable. But I also went to LSU. A friend of mine, Steve, took me to an LSU game, and of course, man, you just drink and drink and drink, and then you stumble to the games there, right? So everybody's really crazy there. So those are the 3 best I've ever been to.
But if you had to pick one,
that's tough. Those are 3 good ones.
Yeah, I would probably go with the Grove.
Oh,
overall.
really? Okay.
Yeah, overall.
Who was LSU playing that game? Do you remember?
Mississippi State.
Oh, okay.
Mississippi State.
So a bit of a rivalry game there.
A little bit. But, they kind of almost a little bit like Texas. I didn't realize they're a little bit like Texas fans. They kind of show up and they start coming, and eventually the stadium gets full. It's not like the Aggies where the stadium's full.
Or stand up the whole day.
Yeah,
game.
stand
I cannot
up.
believe that.
But they get there. But when they get there, they're liquored up.
All right. Mace IV, do you have one?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to a lot of stadiums because I play baseball a lot, and I mean, one thing I remember, one of the toughest things I guess to say with baseball, if I'm going to go with tailgating, I'm going to go with an atmosphere that I walked into one time and I'll never forget. And it was playing the Aggies, and man, they were there. We would go there for like a day before with Baylor, and there was already people in the parking lot. They're screaming at us, yelling things at us, which I love. I mean, there's a lot of people give A&M, you have your side, whatever you want to choose. But, man, that was on game day, though, however, was totally different. I mean, it was you can go from barbecuing to the end of the road wherever they stopped at to people screaming at you walking in the stadium. And that's something I'll never forget. And I'll tell you what, they did have stats on you, too, as a player there. I mean, they had stats when I was sitting in the bullpen. They were reading stuff off about my summer league that I played in Joplin, Missouri. That I pitched like my ERA.
It wasn't the good stats, was it?
It wasn't great. I mean, I remember I had like an 8 ERA the whole summer. I was like, man, this summer sucked. But good thing I'll never have to remember it. Well, little did I know when I went to A&M, they had the stats ready for me in the bullpen and just screaming. And of course, they got to make fun of other things. They're telling me to fly away with my ears here and there and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I really don't want to pitch this game. Like, they put, they do that whole wave thing. But that, if I'm going football, the one I've only been to a lot is, and it's a tradition for me, and I know our family too, is the Texas OU. I like the State Fair. It's not intense. I don't think it's intense. Maybe if y'all know better than me, but I don't think it's too intense. I think there's definitely rivalry though. I mean, you walk around there, you see all the shirts, the burnt orange. I do love when you walk in that stadium though, different colors separate. But I love the State Fair because the tradition of the food, people drinking, of course.
Yeah, there's nothing like that one.
So that would have to be my football standards. Texas OU.
Do you think the Texas OU game has to be at the State Fair, or could they move it to Cowboy Stadium and it'd be the same?
Like on my personal belief, or
yeah,
it'd be
personal.
I think it would work at Jerry World. I mean, I know maybe people don't. The State Fair. Like Dad would, or
yeah, I know.
Would know better.
It sounds good, but I'd hate to see it leave the State Fair just for old time's sake. It's always been there, and they need to. They've upgraded that stadium a little, but maybe upgrade it a little more. But I like to keep it there.
Yeah, you're in a good situation to get a really bad sunburn at that game.
Yeah, man. That's the best part. People walking after the game, you're like, oh yeah, that was no sunscreen there.
So let me get this. Let me make sure I understand. So on the Aggie side, you respect the Aggies fans. You respect their depth of knowledge on the opposing team. So you kind of like that atmosphere. But your favorite tailgate or your favorite kind of atmosphere is OU Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna be a homer here a little bit. A Dallas homer. I'm gonna be a Dallas homer, not a Baylor homer.
Oh, okay.
Because SMU never usually has a very good football team, but I would recommend going to their tailgate whenever you're in Dallas for a college football game, because they definitely know how to do it. It's kind of like a mini Grove, from what I've heard. Some SMU fans who have been to the Grove. It's kind of like that on a little bit of a smaller level. And they never make it to the game. And they just kind of do all their things before the game and have a really good time. And everybody's dressed up so nice. It's really weird. A lot of football games you go to, especially if you're at UT, there's everyone's wearing T-shirts. Well, that's not the case. That's not the case at SMU. They're all dressed
like the Grove.
Yeah, they're all dressed to the tins. And one of the best games we saw was actually What was it, Arkansas State SMU? We were like one of the people that actually went to the game.
Yeah.
So
was it like 55-65 or I don't know.
You mean they don't make it to the game because they drink so much, or they don't make it to the game because they don't want to go to the game?
Both. I think it's a mixture of both, but they're never going to the game. They don't go into that thinking they're going to go to the game.
I got you.
But yeah, that game was in 2007, that Arkansas State SMU game.
I think so.
There were like flea flickers and
every trick
play there was.
It's one of the best games I've ever seen. I'm serious.
Yeah, and like all 13 people in the stadium got to see it. There was barely anybody there. Okay, so sticking with tailgate, is there anything in particular that you like tailgating the most? Meaning, is there like a game like cornhole, or is it like the food, or what is it about tailgating that kind of you love the most? Mace IV.
The food and cornhole all the way. I love playing cornhole, but I love having a nice like hot dog. If I can get a nice good hot dog, just ketchup, mustard. I don't know why.
I was gonna say, you put mayo on your hot dog?
Well, sometimes. Again, it depends how much you're drinking, dude. I don't know. But no, just a nice hot dog. But cornhole, especially. Honestly, tailgating to me is where you get to meet up with friends, relax, talk about football, talk back and forth about the game, who's going to win. But, man, a nice hot dog for me and cornhole for sure.
The other day I was watching ESPN and I saw the cornhole championship.
Ooh, they just kill it every time, don't they?
Did you see that? I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, no, it is.
Are y'all being serious?
No, we are.
No,
it's on ESPN.
It wasn't even on ESPN 88. It was on ESPN 2. And these guys are holing it every time. It's so crazy.
Every once in a while they'll block.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Are they sliding it in, or are they just dumping it?
Well, they can airmail it. Well, no, they're sliding it in every time. But if they have to, they'll airmail it in.
Yeah, the announcer was like, "Oh, he might have to go for an airmail here."
Oh, so we got an intense announcer too on cornhole.
Oh yeah, super intense. It's just nice to see that there's a sport for the fat, beer drinking out of shape guys. That they're able to do something. I mean, bowling's always there, but those guys in bowling are getting fitter and fitter. So we need another sport. What about you, Dad? Is there anything, or Mace III, anything?
It's all about the alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all about the alcohol. Who has the best drinks there? Who has the best beer? You tasted different beer, like at the Grove. I tasted all kinds of different drinks and everything. So yeah, food's good too.
Okay, so here's a question I've gotten before. Do you have to have a TV with other games there to have a good tailgate, or can it just be
TV?
I don't think you do.
TV.
I mean, I've been to both. It depends who you're with, what crowd you're with. No,
I think about myself. I want a TV.
No, I don't need one.
Well, because you got to watch the other games. Maybe those games affect the game you're about to go see.
That's true.
It's kind of nice to have a TV. I'm on the TV side because you can always spark a conversation about that.
Or a bad one too. Who knows?
That's true.
Yeah. Have you ever? That's a good point. Have you ever been in a situation where I got a little too rowdy at a tailgate?
I've never personally been in a rowdy spot. No, not me.
Not really. Not that I can remember.
I've been kicked out of a tailgate before. I told someone that I was at a TCU game, and I told them I went to Baylor, and they told me to get the heck out. And I thought
Seriously?
they were kidding. I thought they were kidding, but they were not kidding.
Did you leave?
I didn't leave. No. Okay, so that's the beginning. Kind of a fun conversation to kick everything off. But now let's get into it. We talked about it last week, how we were going to make predictions this week. So what I want to do now is go through each conference and make a prediction for each champion. So not a division, just who's going to win the actual conference for each conference. And let's start with the ACC, and let's start with Mace III. Who's going to win the ACC? Did you hear me?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Start over again. Who's going to win the ACC?
Yeah. Clemson.
Okay.
Clemson. But by far, it's not even going to be close.
Do you see that as kind of like there's only really 3 teams that have a chance to win the ACC: Miami, Clemson, and Florida State?
Yeah, but they're just way ahead of they're just way ahead of those, those other ones, and they're just, all I can say is Clemson in that one. It's just, they're just that far ahead of everybody. They will be in the playoffs.
Okay, what about you, Mace? He seems pretty confident about that. So
yeah, it's pretty. He just said period. So, I'm gonna go with Clemson too. Just their defense is legit. I mean, it's pretty much. That's I guess it's gonna go period too on that Clemson. But I will say I do have a sleeper, which is going to be surprising to most people, I think. And I'm going to go Wake Forest on the sleeper.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. Watch it. Wake Forest.
What kind of beer is this you're drinking?
It's good beer. Wake Forest.
Watch
sleeper.
out, people. Don't drink
Sleeper.
this.
I don't know
I'm
about
telling
that.
you right now. Okay. Y'all watch. Wake Forest. Sleeper. Okay. I didn't say that. Hey, I didn't say they were going to win. I'll say Wake Forest is going to be a sleeper.
So, y'all are both picking Clemson, I think is, a solid pick. I'm actually going to pick Miami. And let me give you some reasons why. Miami gets Florida State at home. Clemson gets Florida State at Florida State. And Miami doesn't play Clemson. So Miami doesn't get Clemson to the championship game. And they have a little bit of easier road. So I'm picking Miami to actually pull through and beat Clemson this year. What are your thoughts of that?
What are you drinking again?
Yeah, what are you drinking?
I mean, Miami's a good team. There's only 3 teams really that have a chance to win the ACC.
Yeah.
It's
What year is that? What year is that coach in there? Second
year
or
2
third?
for George. Year 2.
He's a
Mark
good coach.
Rick year 2. He did really good his first year. I think he's gonna light a fire under them and actually and win it all. Win the ACC this year. Florida State. I put them in as a potential
They
winner.
got talent. They got talent.
Florida State's got it. Their quarterback's going to be good.
But they've got they lost their coach. I mean, it's going to be a difficult year for them. They might win, 8-9 games, and I think that'd be a really good year for them.
I agree.
All right, ACC done. Let's move to the Big Ten. Now, this one is tough. I was looking at the Big Ten earlier today, and it was really difficult to pick a winner for this. So let's start with Mace IV this time.
Big Ten. Where did I have him? Here we go. Y'all ready for this? I got a sleeper in this one too, just so you know.
You and the sleepers.
I'm going Michigan Wolverines. Call it. Winning it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Because you know what? Hey, whatever. Listen, I know Ohio State's good. Whatever's going on in that school right now, I think it's a distraction. It's just going to be a down year for them. Not saying they're not going to do well. I just see Michigan. This is the year for Harbaugh to come up on top, get in the playoffs, and do something with this team. Now, my sleeper. Y'all ready for this?
I thought you said that was your sleeper.
No. Michigan is the one who's winning it.
Oh, okay.
My sleeper, Michigan State.
Okay, is Michigan State a sleeper? They're highly ranked to come to the year.
Okay, well, look, I'm just saying they could be that team that comes in and just. I mean, how close are the games always with Michigan? I mean, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State.
No, but my point is, I don't think that's a sleeper. I think they're.
Well, it might not be. You're right. It might not be. But I mean,
I don't know.
I'm just saying
that's maybe people aren't talking about them as much, but that's
maybe yeah. Okay. Anyways, those are my picks right there. Call it.
All right, Mace III.
Okay, you can book this one too.
Okay. There's no way you can book anything in the Big Ten.
It's definitely what?
There's nothing you can book in the Big Ten this year.
This one you can. Wisconsin.
Oh,
Wisconsin.
Okay.
They're going. I mean, they should have been in the playoffs last year. They just they lost to Ohio State, in that playoff game. But they got basically the same team coming back. They got 10 starters on offense coming back. They got a quality defense. They got a great coach. They got a great program. Wisconsin is my pick.
And they're the Badgers too, aren't they?
Yeah,
the Badgers. They're mean animals.
I'm telling you, it's their year.
Okay, here's my problem with Wisconsin. I think you're right that they're going to make the championship because they're the easy division of the Big Ten. Like, who is the toughest team they play in their division? They
Iowa.
Nebraska maybe, Iowa maybe.
maybe. I'm just naming teams in the day.
That's what I'm saying. They're probably going to – I mean, not probably. They're most likely going to win their division, right? But they still got to play somebody in the Big Ten championship, and I don't think they win that game. They haven't proven that they can win that game, like you said last year.
They should have won last year. It was close, right? It could have gone either way.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. They didn't win.
But it could have gone either way, that game. And this year it's going to go their way.
No,
and Ohio State, like he said, is having problems. They're going to have problems. They'll be thinking about other. I'm telling you, book it right now. Book that.
Wisconsin makes a Big Ten championship almost every year, and they lose almost every year.
But this is the year.
For the Wolverines.
Yes. No.
We talked about it last week about how Michigan really needs to have a good year for Harbaugh. He's under a lot of pressure this year.
But do you think he's on the hot seat, though? I mean, what coach are you going to find that's better fit for that?
No, I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think he's safe. But I still think he's under pressure to do better.
I got you.
And it's funny that you say Michigan State is your sleeper, Mace IV, because I almost picked Michigan State to win it all. Because it's mainly due to their schedule. Because they've got Penn State at Happy Valley. They've got Michigan and Ohio State at home, though. So they got 2 of their 3 really tough games at home this year. But I ultimately decided to go with Penn State. I think they're going to win it this year. I think they have the really 3 tough games. They've got Ohio State, but they've got them at home. They've got Michigan State. They've got them at home as well. And their tough game away will be Michigan at Michigan. Even if they lose one of those 3, they're still going to make the championship. And I think, going back to my point earlier, I think whoever wins that division is going to beat Wisconsin to win the Big Ten. So I'm going with Penn State. You can book that, Mace III.
Well, that's pretty cool. We all have different picks on that one.
Yeah, that is cool. It's different.
Y'all are wrong and I'm right, but that's the way. Yeah, that's okay.
You're going with the Badgers?
That's the thing. That the Big Ten. You know, we talk about the SEC always being the strongest conference. The Big Ten looks really strong this year, especially on the Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State side.
I agree.
I mean, it was really tough to make a decision there. So I'm actually looking forward to watching some Big Ten games this year, and I'm interested to see it because I think Ohio State might have the most talent, but they've got a lot of stuff going on right now. We'll learn a lot early on when they play TCU as well. All right, the next one I have is this one's tough because I never watch any of these games, but the Pac-12. I'll start with Mace III this time.
You can book this one.
Oh, God.
Can we just book all of them?
Yeah.
Washington. They got a senior quarterback and Jake Browning coming back. And, I just think Washington is the pick.
Okay.
We'll find out early. You know why? We'll find out early on Washington because their first game is against, Auburn. So
yeah,
we'll
but that doesn't affect the Pac-12, right?
It does. But we'll find out what kind of team they are. Is what I'm saying. And I think they're. I think they'll.
Where is that game? Do you know?
I think it's a neutral game. Yeah, I'm not sure where, but I think it's a neutral game.
I think they usually do it that.
Yeah.
All right. Fourth.
I'm going Stanford. At Stanford's going to be on top this year. They got. Let me see. They play San Diego State, USC, and UC Davis at home, which and then they got road trips at Oregon and Notre Dame. But I just see Stanford.
Don't they play at Washington though? Do they not play at Washington? I thought I noted that down. Do they not? Did I mess that up?
Might, yeah. I could look it up in a little bit, but I just see them this year is the year for them. I don't know about playoffs, but I see them on top of the Pac-12. I like the coach there a lot. I really do. Very sound coach.
They do have a Heisman Trophy candidate too, and Bryce Love.
Yeah, they do. So I like their play and their style. I see them having a good year.
So they do play Washington at Washington November 3rd.
Okay, so that's a good game to watch too. I mean, like I said, the Pac-12, they could be up in the air, but I'm going Stanford. Now here's my sleeper.
Oh, another sleeper.
Okay.
Ducks, Oregon, sleeper. Call it.
Again, your sleepers are all ranked teams.
But come on, Oregon in the past has not been. I'm telling you, they're going to sneak up this year. They're going to be sneaky good. Sneaky.
And
good.
one thing I will say about Oregon, because when I was looking through these, the Pac-12. When I looked at the Big Ten and then I looked at the Pac-12, and you can just clearly see that the Big Ten's way better than the Pac-12 this year.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think they're definitely the weakest conference going into the year. But Oregon, that's an interesting sleeper pick because they've got the easiest schedule, it looks like. They do have to play Stanford and Washington, but they get them both at home, and that's a tough place to play.
I'm telling you, watch it. I'm not picking these sleepers just to pick them.
So I was down to 2 teams in the Pac-12, Washington or USC. I ultimately decided to go with Washington, but I was very, very – it seemed like Washington just is the better team. But I almost went with USC. And the reason I almost went with USC is because they really do – so Oregon has a good schedule, but USC really has the easiest schedule in the Pac-12. They get Stanford, and their like next toughest game is like at Utah. They don't have to play Washington. They don't have to play Oregon. So, I mean – just
what year's
for them
their quarterback, though? Is it
doesn't even
quarterback?
Yeah, but it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter because they're going to have talent on defense and everywhere compared to everybody else they're playing.
True.
So I think they're going to make the championship. I just don't think they're going to win it. I think Washington will win it. I agree with Mace IV. I think veteran quarterback. Their coach is really solid. They actually play defense. I think that's a pretty easy pick. I mean, just looking at the numbers and looking at the personnel.
Why you got to say easy pick? I mean, I don't mind the Stanford pick, but their schedule's so tough. I'm telling you, man. Stanford.
They have such a tough schedule. They have to play USC, Oregon, and Washington, and Oregon
What
and
are
Washington on
they?
the road.
The trees?
They're the Cardinal, not the trees.
Cardinals. Well, why do they have a tree logo?
They do have a tree logo.
I don't get that.
That's still one of the best ESPN commercials. Is that tree? He's always the best.
That is.
All right. Okay. Another tough one coming up. The SEC. Let's do the SEC now.
SEC.
I can call who he's going to pick.
All right. Mace IV, though. Let's start with you.
All right. All right. I don't know if I'm going to get laughed at this or not, but I'm going with it. Georgia Bulldogs. Bulldogs.
Why would you get laughed at that?
I don't know. Because Alabama, everybody's like, Alabama wins it every year. But I'm going
Alabama didn't even win their division last year.
Well, true. I'm talking about Alabama, how everybody's picking them. They're always on top. They're number one every year. But I'm going Georgia Bulldogs. Just how they play, the defense. Again, I'm always with SEC defense is always going to be great. But I see the Georgia Bulldogs on top this year. Now, here's a sleeper.
Another sleeper.
Yeah, this is a good one.
I'm surprised.
You ready? Mississippi State. So look at that.
Okay.
Look, and he's smiling. He knows I'm right.
Yeah, because they're ranked. They're expected to be good.
These are all. When I'm saying sleepers here, I'm talking about.
There is no sleeper in the SEC.
I just named it.
If you pick like Kentucky, now that would be like a coma, not just a sleeper.
I'm just telling you, Mississippi State's going to be sneaky good. Again,
okay.
Sneaky good.
So you went
Or
with Georgia?
Georgia on top, Mississippi State as a sleeper.
Okay, Dad, or Mace III.
I hate to do this, and I don't like them, and I don't like the coach, but come on, guys, it's Alabama.
Why do you say that?
Again, it's not even close.
What?
Because they have the best players. They have the best players. They have the 5 stars. They have the 5-star offensive linemen. They have the 4-star offense. They have better players than everybody, Miles, and that's why.
You said you say that, but they didn't even win it last year. They didn't even make the championship last year.
Do you think the quarterback they might start with, what's his name, the lefty?
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Tula. I can't think of his name, but do you think he? Obviously, it looks like he's going to start.
Yeah, he's going to start.
Okay. Do you think he's? I mean, he did well in the championship. He also made some throws in that championship that weren't outstanding all the time. He made some mistakes here and there. Now, granted, with the way he performed in the national championship, I'm not taking that away from him. But this is his first full year, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just saying. I think there's going to be hiccups this year. I'm not saying they're not going to be good.
It's his first full year, like
right.
being the starter.
That's what I mean. Like his first full year playing a full season.
They got better players. I mean, that's why I'm going with them. They got better players by far. It's not even close. I mean, and the coaching, it is what it is. It's Nick Saban, but Darth Vader, whatever you want to call him. But they got better players. They got better talent. So why wouldn't you go with the team that had the better talent?
One assistant's going to beat him this year. How many assistants has he coached, man?
Look, I get your Alabama point, but they didn't even win it. They didn't even win their division last year. So I don't.
Because they lost that, one game.
Yeah, to the team that won the division. All right.
and lost to whatever.
So having bashed Alabama, I think that's a fine pick.
Don't get me wrong. You know how I feel about Alabama. I don't like Alabama. So I hate to say this. You're asking me who I think, and why wouldn't you not pick Alabama?
Well, I'm not picking Alabama, so I'm actually going to pick Auburn. I'm going to pick them to actually overcome. Okay. I'm going to have them overcome Georgia. I think you're right in B. I think or Mace IV. I think they're going. Georgia's going to make the championship again because the East is a joke. They're going to roll through the East. But Auburn, the reason I almost picked Alabama is because Auburn has to play Alabama at Alabama this year. So, that game, the Iron Bowl's, it's kind of like A&M and UT used to be. You never know who's going to win that game. So I kind of almost throw that game out every year. Just that's a toss-up every year. Alabama, I think, will stumble. Where I think Alabama will stumble is at LSU, because I think it's going to be a night game.
No way.
I think they're going to play hard. I think they're going to play hard. I think they're going to play hard for that coach who I can't ever understand.
Oregon.
Man, Miles, you had me going. I was with you until you went LSU, because LSU is going to be lucky to win 6 games this year.
Orgeron. Got it.
6 games? Get out of here.
Yes, they're going to be. Look at their schedule. You got their schedule in front of you? Look at their
LSU?
schedule. It's just.
That's a coach on the hot seat.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Maybe.
I'm
I don't
telling
know.
you.
Where was the game at again? It's at LSU?
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
at LSU. Yeah.
They don't have.
Yeah, you're right, Mace III. They do have a difficult schedule, but they'll win more than 6 games.
Tell me the 6, 7 they'll win. I looked at that schedule. It's tough.
They'll beat Florida, Mississippi, obviously La Tech, SCLA. They'll probably lose to Auburn. They'll lose to Georgia. They'll beat Mississippi State.
Ooh, okay.
I have them beating Alabama. They'll beat Arkansas. They'll beat Rice. And they haven't lost to A&M yet, so what makes you think they're going to lose to A&M this year?
Because they got Jimbo. Yeah, they got Jimbo.
Yeah, Jimbo.
Jimbo Fisher.
Okay.
No one picked A&M, even though they have Jimbo now.
I wouldn't pick A&M even if I knew I could pick A&M.
All right, so let me make sure I get this right. So Mace III has Alabama, because I'm noting all this so we can go back and look how bad we were at the end of the year. And Miles has Auburn.
That's what you do is keep our scores so we can come back and I like that. Keep our scores and see who's done well.
So again, that's another one where we all 3 picked 3 different teams.
That's crazy. We hadn't got together either. I mean, this is live.
Yeah.
As Bill O'Reilly says, this is live.
This is live.
This is live.
All right, now kind of our forte, right? This is kind of where we're the biggest experts, I would say, is the Big 12. So let's start with Mace III. I'll be shocked if I don't hear a team come out of your mouth of who's going to win the Big 12.
Baylor Bears.
Well, you're going to be shocked, I think, because I really do believe it's West Virginia's year.
Yes, I am shocked. I thought 100% you would have said Texas.
Yeah, no, Texas maybe next year, but I believe it's their year. They got Oklahoma at home. They got a Heisman candidate at quarterback. What do you need as quarterback in the college football? You need a great quarterback, all right? It's a quarterback-driven type sport. They got Will Grier at quarterback. They got the two best receivers in the Big 12. They got Gary Jennings and David Sills. David Sills, 18 TDs last year. Gary Jennings Jr., 97 catches, both leading the Big 12. They got a decent defense. I like their coach. And, again, they got Oklahoma at home. And they got Oklahoma at home at night. So I'm giving them I'm leaning.
They already have a time on that game?
Yeah, they have a time on that game. I looked at it. It's like 7 or 8 o'clock. It's a night game. They're going to play Oklahoma at night.
So I do like that pick. I think I like it at the same time. It's also still West Virginia, right? They've never done it before. But I do like that because they've got their toughest road game is either going to be at Texas or Oklahoma State. They get TCU at home and they get OU at home. So if they're going to do it, this is their year to do it. I agree. All right, Mace the fourth.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to win the Big 12?
I'm going with West Virginia. That's who I had picked on the way here. Yeah. One of the things is with the quarterback. I think, I mean, you got to have good quarterback play. They got that. I think he's a Heisman candidate they were talking about. They did get a transfer, Jabril Robinson, 6'2", 273, coming from Clemson, adding to that defense, which I think that's the X factor for them this year, is their defense is going to step up. I mean, obviously in the past we've seen their defense, how many points do they score? They can score, they just can't hold them. So I think it's a step up this year with their defensive line. If they can go in there and hold, basically just got to be able to hold teams. And I think they're going to have a great year. And again, this is going to have to be the year because I don't know who comes after Will Grier and does that. But I got a sleeper.
Again.
Of course.
We're going Iowa State. Iowa State is my sleeper.
That's your first. I feel like that's your first true sleeper.
That's a sleeper.
Yes.
Well, that's my sleeper in the Big 12. Count it.
I mean, Iowa State. Boom. They had a great year last year, but
they'll have a great year this year.
They won 7 games last year, and that was a great year for Iowa State. So that tells you a lot right there.
Sleeper.
Okay. So Miles, what is it?
It's not even on my list, Iowa State. So I went back and forth between a couple teams on this one. I ended up going with OU.
Oh my God, man!
Yeah, I ended up going with.
Look what you did. Look what you did. Look at him. He has his hands on his face right now. Unreal.
It ended up being between TCU and OU, and I ended up going OU. But it's going to be difficult because they have a difficult schedule this year. They've got to go at TCU, at West Virginia. They obviously have the Texas game, and then they do get Oklahoma State. They get the Bedlam at home, but going to at TCU and West Virginia, that might be my downfall right there. I almost picked TCU because of that, because TCU gets OU at home and Oklahoma State at home. Their toughest games was at Texas and at West Virginia. But yeah, I mean, got to knock them off the top. No one's been able to do it. What makes you think any year is going to be different? They do have a new quarterback, right? But I think Kyler Murray will be pretty good. I think he'll step up. Their defense is going to be better, I think. You've got to prove that you can beat them, knock them off the top. No one's been able to do that in a while. So I'm going to stick with OU.
Yeah, well, you're not upsetting me. I mean, you're upsetting the guy to the left of me.
Whatever.
So where do you think Texas is going to finish? Because I had them finishing 4th.
Oh, I think that's a good spot.
I think they'll finish higher in 4th.
Who do you have?
I think they'll. I mean, they've got some. I've been listening to some talk shows around here, and they've got some people saying, I don't believe it, but they got some people saying they'll win it. So.
Oh, shocking! Talk shows in Austin think UT's going to win.
No, It's Sirius XM, so it's not in Austin. So I say second or third.
They did name Sam Ehlinger today starting quarterback, which, I mean, I think that's the right choice for him.
Do you think Baylor wins more than 3 games this year?
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, I do. I think Charlie Brewer is going to step it up this year. I really do. I think people underestimate him. You know, his same high school as Baker Mayfield. They always have good quarterbacks out there, but Charlie Brewer was a great quarterback in high school.
Yeah.
Last year, I know it was up and down with them. I think they're going more of a spread offense this year from the talk shows I've been listening to too. Give them a little bit more, options out there instead of just starting about the run game. So I think Baylor wins 4 at least.
What about Kansas? Do they win a couple games this year?
He's actually. I think that's another coach that might be on the hot seat. I know. It's hard to find a guy.
Are you on the hot seat?
I mean, yeah. How do you get a coach to come coach there? I mean, I know a lot of coaches just come take that job.
Is that the same coach that beat Texas?
Yeah.
Okay, he's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's what kept Cliff Kingsbury's job at Texas Tech.
Exactly.
He was taking every one of those players after that game. But yeah, I think Baylor has a much better year.
All right. I think that's it. That's all of our predictions for the Power 5 conferences. I don't know if you have any outside the Power 5 conferences that teams that we should watch. I really didn't look into that. I know UCF. I typically would say they're one to watch. Yeah, the co-national champions, but they lost their coach.
Champions. They did lose their coach.
But any other teams that you could think of outside the Power 5?
Nothing really jumps to my mind. Nah.
Yeah, I would say UCF, Boise State, those typical teams will probably be in there.
Those are typical. I was trying to think outside the box.
What about Notre Dame?
Well, yeah.
They got too tough a schedule.
Yeah, I mean.
They're just.
What are they? They came. I think
they need to stop that. I mean, they need to get in some conference. They got a tough schedule, right?
Yeah, their schedule is tough. I think they're number 11 this year. I mean, they got a good chance.
They're ranked high. I mean, they're preseason ranked high, but ultimately the rankings. They say the pre-senior rankings aren't supposed to mean anything, but
right.
All right, so we're about 50 minutes in. We're almost 50 minutes in. The next thing, I'm not a very good bettor, but Mace III wanted to put this segment on here because I guess he had some teams that he liked the line on.
I got one. I've just been so excited to tell you guys about. Is it my turn?
Yeah, you're the one who wanted this.
Okay.
Yeah, so just let me reset it real quick. So
okay.
We're actually going to go into the sports betting lines and pick. So you're going to pick beating the spread, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So my pick is Florida Atlantic over Oklahoma.
What?
The spread. It's 21 points. The Lane train. Lane Kiffin. And actually, he might upset. That's an upset alert.
No, oh God.
That's an upset alert.
Oh,
look at him last year.
You're just picking this.
No, I'm not.
All right.
Look at the team. They got. Did you watch any of their games last year?
Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, they were good.
I know they're good.
They did lose their offensive coordinator this year.
But they got Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, but they got Lane Kiffin.
That's true. Yeah.
But anyway, 21 points. Florida Atlantic over Oklahoma. No. And like I said, upset alert right there.
Oh. Well.
21 points is a lot for a team in Florida Atlantic that can score a lot of points.
They do put up points. I can say that much.
Okay, Mace IV, do you have a team? Or do you have a game?
I mean, I really don't. I got to get him back into the betting line and stuff, but I mean, I couldn't even tell you something. I mean,
you didn't come prepared with a game to.
That's my motto.
I got another one too.
Go ahead. What's your other one?
Go ahead.
I got another one. West Virginia versus Tennessee. West Virginia is giving up 10 points, I believe. They'll destroy Tennessee.
Oh, you think they'll beat them by more than 10?
Yes.
What about the Texas Maryland game? I think that's a 10
that's what I was. That's what I was going to say. The game to watch. Texas Maryland.
What is the spread on that? 10 or
It's 10.5, I believe.
yeah?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean,
I honestly, I don't. What Maryland's going through again. Obviously I'm picking Texas, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't see Maryland have a good fight on this one this year. But I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. I always think when distractions build up, not many good things happen.
Yeah.
what do you got, Miles?
Mine was Texas Maryland. I think Texas will beat Maryland by more than 10.5.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that.
I'm telling you guys, though, if you got money, Florida Atlantic, put it all. Bet the house on it.
Oh,
bet
yeah.
the house on it.
We're gonna have
Can you loan me some?
We're gonna have
loan me
people
some
call this
money?
show. Yeah, no. What was gonna happen is the Mace is loaded told me to bet this, and now I'm gonna call back like, well, y'all.
I'm telling you, people
You
out
can tell
there,
people that, but they're gonna
I'm
call back
telling
and be. They might not listen to our show anymore.
I'm telling you, that team is
Or-
good. 21
Or
points.
they win it big. And then
21 points is a lot of points.
It is a lot of points. Where was that game? Is it at OU? It's got to be at OU, right?
Yeah, it is at OU. I believe so.
The problem with those games is like it's like within the you have to watch the first quarter into the second quarter, because if they can stay with them within that time frame, then there's a good chance they're going to beat the spread. If OU gets ahead by like 14 in the first quarter and then like 17 in the second, then you're in a big trouble, because they're going to be able to. It's just all about depth, because they don't have the same depth OU does. They've got to stay with them up until midway through the second quarter. Then you're in good shape to beat that spread.
You're exactly right.
All right, so we've got about 8 minutes left. Any other games? I've got a little bit more than 8 minutes left. Any other games we should watch? I know we talked about Ohio State, TCU last week. One game I kind of wanted to bring up, and I don't know. Sorry, I didn't prep for this. I didn't prep y'all for this, but
well, now
I think
you get on me. What's going on here, man?
No, I didn't prep y'all for this. But the LSU Miami game, I think that'll be a really fun game.
Yeah. That would be a good game.
Can you imagine going to that game?
No.
That's it. Where is that? Jerry?
That one, I think that might. Let me double check here.
Or is that in Florida somewhere? I don't know.
No, it's in Baton Rouge.
Ooh.
Oh, it's in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, it's the Hurricanes at LSU. Who do you think is going to win that? Because I picked. So I have a lot of I had a lot of expectations for both these teams. I have LSU somehow beating Alabama, and I have Miami winning the ACC. So maybe that's why I'm more invested in this game.
I'll go Miami. I'll go with Miami on that one.
Me
All right,
too.
any other
I think it'd be an exciting game for sure.
Any other games that y'all can think of? I know we talked. So last week, just to remind y'all, we talked about Ohio State, TCU, and Michigan, Notre Dame. But besides those, any other ones?
Nah.
No other ones?
I mean, there's some out there, I'm sure, but
All right. Okay, so we've got 5 minutes left. Mace IV. Do you have something that needs to happen this week?
Was I supposed to bring something to the table?
Yes. God.
Oh, I got
Idiot.
this one right. I got this right. I did it right this time. All right, I do have something that needs to happen for me, and I'm going to stick with football. And maybe someone you can explain to me, the third can explain to me, or maybe someone eventually when we get viewers or whatever. I can understand to this day in college football, if you fall down, you're down. I don't understand that rule. I don't get that. It's the silliest thing ever. I mean, it blows my mind. Okay, whoops, I trip and fall, but no one's touched me yet. I can't get back up and run. But in NFL, it takes what? It's a hand to touch him, right? Contact of some aspect. But I watch football games sometime, and I'm always that person like, get up, run, get up and run. Oh, wait, they can't because no one's touched them, but they fell down, but they can't get back up. It's the silliest thing to me. Till this day, I'll be totally against it. But I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on it. But that is my thing that needs to happen is just change that darn rule in college football that you're down once a knee hits or whatever.
The only reason I can think they do it is for safety, right? I mean, once you're down, you're down. They don't want people spearing them or jumping on them when they're down.
I guess, but I don't know. I think it's just silly.
The funniest though is the opposite in the NFL when the rookies fall down, get up, and throw the ball because they think they're down. That's the best.
See, that's another. There you go. You can explain that. And I guess when you're a rookie in the NFL, you have an excuse because they're like, "Whoa, we've been told, we can't get up and run." But now you have to go to the NFL, and once you're down on the ground, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, God.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, that's an interesting one. It's a hot take. I didn't realize you had such an opinion on a rule that
I cannot stand that rule.
You're like the only person I've ever heard of that cares so much about that rule.
Oh, I blew up. I'm like that one person who stand up randomly, and people are like, "Why is he standing up screaming at this?" I'm like, "Because he's not down."
Okay, Mace IV, do you have any opinion on that? I mean,
no opinion. No opinion.
That's right, because it's a stupid
I am a little confused about the NFL new rule on the targeting and stuff on the preseason games. I'm so confused on that. I wish someone can explain it to me because
that might be
that could screw the game up big time. But that's another story.
That might have been. But we could talk that.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that in the next episode, and then we'll start getting into more NFL probably in the next few episodes because we want to talk. I want to talk Cowboys, NFL. Maybe we'll do some NFL picks.
And we want to get fantasy football too coming up.
And when's our draft? Our draft is Sunday the 2nd, right?
Sunday the 2nd, yeah. First pick, Justin Tucker.
Okay. Hey, if you're gonna go kicker, that's the one to go. All right, so I think that's it today, gentlemen. That was a good show. It went by fast. I feel like these go by fast.
Yeah, it does go by fast, but
Hey, but listen, Florida Atlantic over Oklahoma, take it.
Wait. Now are you saying they're going to beat them, or are you still sticking they're going to beat the spread?
With the points. No, it's upset alert. They're on upset alert, but the points they'll cover.
All right.
Again, just a reminder, if you listen to this, follow us. We'll post on Facebook. We should have a Facebook page coming out soon.
Who is supposed to make that Facebook page?
We don't have to get into that discussion. That's further discussion. But follow us. I think we'll post this soon. Like it, share it. We have a YouTube, right? Mace is loaded.
Mace is loaded. Yeah. So we've got. So I'm going to post it to YouTube probably tonight. I'll post it on YouTube tonight at Mace is loaded. Post it to SoundCloud maybe tonight. Hopefully tonight. And then we'll also once we get our Facebook page up, Mace IV. Then we'll post it to Facebook as well. All right, but I think that's it today, guys. So we gone.